Adam Peters has talked repeatedly about optionality, about wanting flexibility going forward. And we know they signed a lot in free agency.
Yeah.
But by and large, they sign guys to one-year deals.
They didn't sign anybody that really hurts them.
Dude, I mean, Luvu and Armstrong got legit guaranteed money into a second and third year. I want to say Biotish did too. Just about everybody else is I got nothing on the hook
They're expendable
for next year, or if I do, it's something I can eat.
Yeah, but it's the way that they position themselves to where if the guys play well, they can do something else. If they don't, they could keep moving.
Well, and
but I think they ultimately wanted to get a culture established quickly.
Sure.
With veteran players that they think understand exactly what they want to do.
I agree with that completely. We've now got the numbers. Overthecap.com has crunched the numbers to let us know kind of exactly what Washington is in position to do, should they do it. I also think there is an interesting situation where I believe it was last Friday. What day is today? June 4th?
Tuesday.
So what day was June 1st? Saturday?
Mm-hmm.
Saturday was June 1st?
Yeah.
June 1st on the NFL calendar is a pretty important date because that's when guys can get cut and you can spread out the cap hit over two seasons. I think when you combine June 1st with teams now getting enough time to look at their draft picks and teams now getting enough time to look at, especially as mandatory minicamps going on right now, teams now getting enough time to look at their draft picks compared to the veterans on their roster and then look at the veterans' salary on their financial ledger. Now is the time of year, especially front offices have the option of lots of things, right? But if you drafted a kid, say you didn't plan on looking at pick a position, guard, but then in the third round, a kid you love fell to you and you took him, that changes the calculus for how you're going to view this upcoming season. And if you have a veteran guard you like, but maybe the number's a little bloated and he missed some time last year or whatever, you're going to start to consider what your options are. And if you're going to do right by the player, and not every situation allows to do right by the player, and not every organization does right by the player.
True.
But there are plenty that do and plenty of situations that do. If that confluence of events occurs where you can do right by the player and it's best for the organization, you release them now. So they're getting signed long before camp. They get a real chance to listen. It ain't early free agency, but there's still enough teams with cap space.
It's just the right thing to do sometimes. Like the player, you didn't let him go earlier because it was going to hurt you. So now you get to this position and you're like, okay, boom, because he may not be in your plans.
Or earlier he was in your plans and then somebody fell to you in the draft you weren't expecting, and now your plans change.
Yep.
What could happen for Washington depends on how much money they have. How much money they have, I'll tell you when we come back. Cap space for Washington. This is vital. Now, they don't have to spend it, and I don't think they will spend much, frankly, unless like the perfect guy emerges on the market. But they'll have $44 million in cap space going to training camp. I mean, that's significant money. And I don't know that, frankly, it's one of those things you don't really know who could emerge across the league as a target because you just don't know how that will shake out. And there's not, honestly, a lot of people on their roster they need to take care of at this point. I wonder if you don't consider a Cosme extension because you've got the money. He was quite good.
Yeah, I don't know if that's necessary at this point, though.
I agree. He was quite good last year. Prior to that, he had some injury trouble. It's also new staff, new offense, new everything. So they might just want to see it. He is going into the last year of his deal, but you would have the tag as an option for next year. But two, say he keeps playing really well and these guys decide We love this kid. We want him to be a part of our future. You call his agent in October.
Mhm.
Like there's nothing that stops you from doing it in season.
Yeah, but I mean, with all the stuff going on and all the things happening right now, I think that's the farthest from anything that they should be concerned about right now.
I'm saying I'm just pointing that out as one of the few people on the roster that you'd even consider it with. Because I mean, unless John Allen was unhappy that he doesn't have any guaranteed money, and you wonder if there's not a way to maybe lower his cap number and elongate that process. But I don't know that there's a desperate push for that.
No,
Like their roster, I don't know how good they're going to
they're
be,
trying to
but
build it. They should be more concerned about winning games than trying to make some individual happy.
well, all I'm saying is, I don't know how good this roster is,
Mhm.
but from a salary cap standpoint, they're in great shape.
Yeah,
Like there's no pressing, like juxtapose it with Dallas
but
that has great players, but they got to figure something out because they got
doesn't
to
that
spend a
play right
whole bunch of
into
money.
what Adam Peters talked about, though? You know, we're in a position where we're great with the salary cap. We don't have anybody to have to worry about. But if we decide we want to move on with somebody next year or do something good, we have all the capabilities of doing it. So I think they position themselves just right.
I agree. And this year, to me, I've said this repeatedly, is about clarity.
Mhm.
Clarity at the quarterback position. The best thing that can happen for Washington is we get to Christmas and it's like, damn, no doubt about it. Jaden Daniels is the quarterback of the future.
Mhm.
That is by far the best thing that can happen.
100.
You know what the second best thing is? We get to December and it's like, yo, this ain't it. We got to keep swinging the hammer. Like we got to keep finding a new quarterback.
Mhm.
You just want clarity above all else.
Yeah.
And by far you hope it's that this is the guy, but if
I hope
not,
to God that if they made the decision and did that, it ain't that in December. you
right.
know?
Me
So
too. I'm just saying, but you want to know because if you're able to get through this year and Jaden is the guy, then you can have an offseason like Houston did, where they went out and got better because they think they're competing right away,
yep.
and you're competing while the quarterback's on a rookie
They
deal.
helped their quarterback out too.
Yo,
Yeah.
and while they can spend the money elsewhere because you can't talk contract with any player until they played 3 years.
Mhm.
So even if you want to, you can't.
Yeah. You can start planning for it though.
Sure.
you can sure start planning for it.
I mean, dude, if you look at 25, now these projections won't always hold, right? But if you look at 25, now you're going to have to sign people because you need people to play. But if you look at 25, Washington has 87 million in cap space.
Mm.
Again, you're going to have to sign people, but they really don't have a lot of folks on long-term contracts.
Yeah.
You just drafted 9 kids. Technically you got undrafted guys on your roster, but like of people with guaranteed money. How about this, B? This is astonishing. On the 2025 roster, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 players with guaranteed money.
Mhm.
I
That'll
mean,
be different by the time we get there though.
they have all the control,
Yeah.
which is pretty
But
remarkable.
eventually they got to start spending some of that money
Of
and
course, of
be
course.
not that far under the cap if they're gonna be competing.
Well, and the
They
other,
hope they can compete without spending, but they gotta spend some of that money.
I don't believe Daniels has signed yet. So when he signs, will impact this as well,
Mhm.
but it's not going to have a dramatic impact because of the rookie contracts.